For thousands of years, the Psalms have accompanied men and women in their darkest moments, in their victories, in their defeats, and in those instances where the soul seems to waver between faith and despair. The Psalms are not just ancient hymns or poetic texts. They are cries from the human soul directed toward God, words born from pain, joy, uncertainty, and unwavering trust. And among the 150 Psalms that make up the sacred book, there's one that opens a door to all the rest, the first one. And while many have read it, few truly know its deeper context, its hidden meaning, and the reason why it stands at the very beginning of this holy collection. Psalm 1 is not there by chance. It was placed first for a profound reason. It serves as a prologue and warning to anyone who chooses to dive into the pages of Psalms. It's as if this psalm says, before you read the cries, the praises, and the supplications of men to God, you must understand that there are two paths in life. One leads to blessing, the other to destruction. It's believed this psalm was written by King David, though some scholars suggest it might have been added later by Ezra, the scribe who compiled and organized the sacred texts after the Babylonian exile. Whoever the author was, this psalm was clearly designed to establish a spiritual dividing line. The righteous and wicked, the one who seeks God, and the one who chooses to ignore him. And this is where the message becomes so relevant today. Though written more than 3,000 years ago, its words strikingly describe the moral and spiritual condition of our times. Psalm 1 reads, "Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by streams of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. The wicked are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish." From its very first line, the psalm uses the word blessed, which in Hebrew means doubly happy, a complete joy that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but rather on inner communion with God. And this blessing isn't for just anyone. It's for those who avoid the counsel of the wicked, who refuse to walk down twisted paths, who don't sit among those who mock the sacred. Notice how the psalmist describes a progression. First, walking, then standing, then sitting. This is how sin entraps. First, you glance at it, then you stop, and finally you settle into it. That's why the first advice is clear. Stay away from environments and influences that distance you from your divine purpose. But avoiding evil is not enough. True joy is found in delighting in the law of God. It's not about blindly following rules. It's about finding joy in what is right, just and eternal. To meditate day and night doesn't mean mindless repetition. It means reflecting deeply and constantly on the principles of life that lead to true peace. The image of the tree planted by streams of water is rich with symbolism. In a desert land like Israel, where water meant the difference between life and death, a tree by the river represented abundance, protection, and strength. That's what the righteous person is like. They bear fruit in due time. Their leaves don't wither. They prosper, not always in riches, but in purpose, peace, and character. The wicked, on the other hand, are like chaff, the dry husks separated from the grain and carried away by the wind. No roots, no weight, no direction. They will not stand when judgment comes, nor will they have a place among the righteous. The final message is powerful. God knows the path of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. There is no spiritual neutrality. Either you're rooted by the waters or you're swept away by the wind. And that decision is not made on your deathbed. It's made every day, in every conversation, every influence you accept, and every road you choose. What's incredible is that this psalm has been used by entire generations as a foundational life teaching. It was one of the first texts Hebrew children memorized. It was recited during vigils, in times of war, in moments of judgment, because whoever understands this psalm understands how God's will moves throughout history. And today, in a world where evil hides behind sweet words and instant pleasures, this warning remains as urgent as ever. Don't sit with mockers. Don't follow the advice of those who mock the sacred. Don't walk with those who have lost the fear of God. Be like that tree, firm, consistent, nourished, and thriving in due time. If this reflection touched your heart and you want to keep discovering the hidden mysteries behind each psalm, I invite you to watch our next video, where we explore Psalm 2, an ancient prophecy about the nations, kings, and God's eternal plan for the world. Subscribe now, activate the bell so you don't miss any of our content, and leave your comment. Have you ever stopped to read this psalm in such depth? I'd love to hear what message it left in your heart. See you in the next video. May God bless you. And remember, he who has deep roots will never be carried away by the wind.